Why, hello. It is Group 3, or Z, is what I'm going to attempt to sort of call myself in the future. Just, we'll see what happens. But, fuck it. Okay, so I do understand that probably by the time you're watching this, that, literally just yesterday, or maybe the day before, the full, hour and a half rant video came out. And I understand this is kind of the same exact thing. So if you understood everything I was saying before, even though it was 99% rage, well, then you really don't need to watch this. But, that's not the button I wanted to click. But, if you didn't, because, understandable, it was a lot of rage, then this is the video for you. So, honestly, the main point I just wanted to get at, which I do think I made this pretty clear, is that the balance between the regions is non-existent. I kind of fucked up a little bit by saying Freljord was stronger than Ionia. I don't think so. I was just really pissed off at at Tryndamere and Tryndamere's capabilities because he's just fucking broken. But I definitely think Targon, Demacia, and Ionia are just leagues above the rest. Like, Noxus has its strong cards, it has its strong moments. Every area has strong cards, that's what I'm trying to say. But then there are cards like this, which I'm willing to bet I can do this for literally any region. There's... Do I not have any of them? I don't. There's cards like this, where when I'm summoned, attack, give allies barrier. So barrier prevents anything from killing them. Anything at all. They will absorb 100% of the next damage you take, no matter what it is. And, you can negate the next damage the unit would take. Lasts 1 round. Okay. And this is both when summoned and attack. So that can be done almost every round, depending on, how things play out. Because honestly, in defense rounds, you're not gonna be able to attack. But at the same time, you can rally, and then you're attacking anyway. So, where cards like this exist, that keep, it's a 9 cost with 9 and 9. 8 cost 8 and 8, plus it has an effect. And it just automatically rallies. It automatically gives a barrier. But let's go to another region. A region that I don't really know that well. Bilgewater. I don't know this fucking region at all. This is one region I really don't know at all. Let's look at any of these others. Like this fucker. I understand he's a lurk, so obviously he is going to gain 1 every time anything attacks before. But play each lurker ally strikes a random enemy. So if you have 4 lurkers, that's 4 different times they're going to strike an enemy. 8 cost, 2 attack, 7 health. Okay, I would say striking random enemies basically just as strong as why can't I think of the name now? Just as strong as, getting a barrier. If anything, I'd say barrier is technically stronger because that barrier could block these attacks. Okay, right here. 7 cost. Plunder. Reduce the cost of allies in your hand and deck by 2. Okay, this one's a little bit more understandable because plunder basically means I hit your nexus. But, yeah, has elusive, so understandable if it was sort of like a 6 and a 6, but it's a 3 and a 4. It's a 3 and a 4 right here. The siren. Okay, when I'm summoned, draw a misfortune. While I'm attacking, all your spells and skills deal 1 extra damage. Okay, so that's reasonably strong. Plus it's a scout. Okay, 7 with a 3 attack, 7 health. This is the Dreadway. When I'm summoned, draw a Gangplank, double all damage dealt by your skills, spells, and allies. That's actually very strong. And yet again, 8 cost, 4 attack, 6 health. But you go to these same regions. Now, I would say that, they did have abilities that were, slightly a bit more situational, but could be used in better ways. But these just flat out give you them and keep the same things. Now I'll go to the region that I do know very well and that I know that it's some bullshit. Right here. Yeah, okay, he keeps his attack and he has 2 less health. Plus, he can kill the 2 weakest enemies, and it's really not that difficult for, like, if an ally died, because it's a Shadow Isles, and an ally will always be dying. Ugh. What the fuck? Why? Okay. But then right here, 8 costs. Same cost. 1 less cost than the other guy. It doesn't give barrier. Pick an ally hand, summon an exact copy of it. It's ephemeral. Okay. So this can be used in a lot of really strong ways. Like, I could play it and then play this guy. And then, bam, I now have another 8 attack. But 6 and 6. So, like, yet again, it can be very strong. 7. Kill an ally, kill an enemy. I brought this up last time where it's... what if I don't have an enemy or an ally I want to kill? So, like, now I have to, essentially. Right here. When I'm summoned, revive the strongest dead allied champion. So this could definitely be very strong, but also very weak. Because if you play this card, you better have a strong dead allied champion, or else it's not going to give a fuck. And I think that the main reason... Now, I'm just going to go to the direct examples I kind of had, where... what's it called? Like, things like this. Like, a 3 cost... It's a fast spell. 3 cost fast spell. An ally and enemy strike each other. Then if the ally is a dragon, heal it too. That is so extremely powerful. And, like, I understand that they're a dragon deck, but that's what I'm kind of getting at too. Where, because it's balanced off of region by region, this region only... It has cards that want to primarily help Demacia. Now, they will help other regions too. That's why I said in the last video that I feel like each team focuses on their region and then just tells some of the information to the other teams. That way they can make cards that, like, sort of help and can cover some weaknesses and things like that. But primarily, they're like, I'm going to make this card and it's going to help out these cards. But because it helps out these cards, it also helps out other cards, and it just becomes way too strong in these situations where, like, heal a dragon too. They already gain 1 attack every single time they kill something, and 1 health. So essentially, if you use this spell, the 3 this spell, make a dragon attack a 1-in-1 unit, and okay, now he lost 1 health. He gained 1 health, so he didn't lose any health at all. And then he heals 2 more. So it's a bit of a problem. We're here, like this. It's only 1 less cost, and they just strike each other. They just strike each other. A perfect example is actually in Bilgewater, with right here, Bone Skewer. An ally strikes an enemy, then moves to the top of your deck. Okay, this is a 2 cost. An ally strikes an enemy, so you can cause any of your allies to hit the enemy, killing it, because they don't strike each other. And not only that, but then he moves to the top of your deck. Now, what does that mean? It means that it helps any lurk card, because a lurk card, whenever you strike an enemy and another lurk card's on the top of the deck, all lurk cards gain +1. Okay. That's very fucking strong for any lurk card. And that's because it's made to deal with lurk cards. But because of how strong it is in general, it also helps a shit ton of other cards. Like, I could try to kill a unit with a spell, and then the next thing you know, they use this to strike. Like, at least these other cards in Demacia, they do the exact same thing. They just strike an enemy. But at least they strike each other. At least they take damage from one another. This card is just, no. I strike you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Except for maybe play another spell. And not only that, but if you were playing a spell that was going to kill me, I now get permanently saved and get thrown on the top of the deck. So even if I'm not a lurk card, I still get to play it the next round. It's a bit of a problem, in my personal opinion. Where these, like right here, play I start a free attack. There's just these cards that are going to help out their region so much. This card right here, This is another card that I just think is insanely strong, and it is a perfect representation of how I want to help out my region, so I'm 10 times better than the exact same card. Not the exact same, essentially the exact same card from another region. Three cost, fast. Remove ephemeral from an ally to grant it to an enemy. So not only is this saving an ally, because ephemeral means that they're going to die at the end of that round. Not only is it saving that ally, so you now have them forever or until they die by some other means, but you are now condemning an enemy. That the only way that this could really be stopped is if they're using a spell to just stop spells, or if they were going, like they kill the enemy you were going to do it on in the first place. Okay, so no matter what, they're going to die. Because as far as I'm aware, the only card that can remove ephemeral is this card. So they're going to die, no matter what. Whether they attack, whether they defend, no matter what, they're going to die. Okay, so let's head to the exact same card in a different region. Remember, that was a 3 cost. This is a 7 cost. Kill a unit. Now, you're probably thinking, how the fuck is this the exact same card? This just kills them. That just flat out kills them. Like, so does ephemeral. Like, let's right here, ephemeral. This unit dies when it strikes or when the round ends. So, if they remove ephemeral from their ally, who was going to die, and now put it on your ally, and they can put it on anything. They can put it on champions. They can put it on anything that they want to. It's now going to die at the end of the round, and there is nothing you can do about it. So it is the exact same card. Both are fast, but for 4 less mana. So at the earliest, you could do that round 4. Maybe like round 3 if you're really trying to push it, but I don't really know why I'd want to do that. Now, I understand it has one more piece of criteria, such as you need to have an ephemeral unit. Okay, you need to have an ephemeral unit. One, that's the easiest fucking thing in the world for most regions, especially the Shadow Isles, to be completely honest, because this guy literally makes a ephemeral unit every single round. Every single round. And there are a shit ton, like right here. Get an exact copy that's ephemeral, creating a copy that's ephemeral. Right here, this guy is ephemeral. Where's Shark is ephemeral. You could just flat out the Unleashed Spirits are ephemeral. So even if you don't necessarily want to save the unit that you have, you could still just use it to kill them. And then even in this, like right here, there's several ephemeral units, because there's the right here. There's an ephemeral unit. I'm looking for one card in particularly. Here. Create a Shadow Fiend. That's an ephemeral unit. So he can strike, create a Shadow Fiend, and then take the ephemeral unit, or take ephemeral off of it. Okay. And they're just... Okay, so there's one more that I had in mind. Let me find the first one. Sorry if this does take a hot... I think it's not LeBlanc's spell, because LeBlanc's spell just flat out stuns somebody. And no, that's summoned an exact copy of an ally with 5+ power. But basically, there is a card that when you play, you can summon 2 exact or you can make 2 exact ephemeral copies of another unit. Okay, I had a person from Ionia use this on Zed, where they made 3 different Zeds. Or they made 2 copies of Zed, so then when he attacked, he then made 2 copies of his shadow, or of his living shadow. So I was being attacked by 6 at once. Not only that, but then they used the other spell that I was just telling you about, remove ephemeral from a unit to give it to an enemy, and he took that off of one of his Zeds. So now he had 2 Zeds to kill mine. Okay. And then, okay, so you have that card that's, summon 2 exact copies of your ally that are ephemeral. And then you have this card, Splinter Soul. Summon an exact copy of an ally, it's ephemeral, and it's 1/1. Like, why can't it just be an exact copy? Now, I'm willing to bet that the mana cost is different. But yet again, like, these are just things that, like, this ability is going to push, that ability is going to push that region ahead. So what I find to be the major discrepancy is that because it's balanced by individual regions with consideration of how that card's going to deal with the other region, but not full acceptance of it, I would say, or like full consideration instead of just partial consideration. There's really nothing, like, because it's balanced in that method, that there's going to be a lot of imbalances between the regions. Like, as I was just saying, like, there are the exact same card, or essentially the exact same card from region to region, that is just slightly different, or things like that, that are going to be completely different costs, have completely different effects. Like Shurima. Shurima's a great example of the other card that I can talk about. Here it is. Rite of Negation. Okay, so this one is a bit strong. So it's a fast spell. Kill an ally or destroy one of your mana gems to stop all enemy fast spells, slow spells, and skills. Okay, that's very strong. Okay. It's a 4 cost, and you have to sacrifice an enemy and an ally. But it will stop all spells. So it is a bit stronger. Okay, so this isn't like a pure comparison, but yeah. And then right here, Deny. Stop a fast spell, slow spell, or skill. So this is only going to be 1 spell. This is true. It has the exact same cost, and both are fast. But the other one, you either have to kill an ally or something else. So this, I actually think, is a bit more balanced from the other ones I was talking about. But yet again, where it's just, there's slightly different effects from region to region. Now, this particular case is a much better case, or a case of an actual good comparison, because they're both very similar with same cost, same fast effect, same capability, but the other one can do a wider range, but it has a higher cost. But then, and then I wish that was kind of shown more with what I'm going to go back to the card I was talking about earlier, where, right here, Bone Skewer. I don't agree that you should just strike an enemy. I think, if anything, maybe have an enemy strike each other, and if you kill the enemy, then they go back, then it goes back to the top of your deck. But if it doesn't kill the enemy, then it doesn't. Or maybe have it be like a Nightfall, or a day. What the fuck is the other effect called? Now, of course, now I'm not going to be able to think of it. Daybreak. Or a Daybreak effect, where, like, oh, if it's the very first card you use, has to be the first card you use, then it will put your card at the back of the deck. Like, I don't understand why it's the exact same cost as this card, but with a greater effect, because they strike each other. That one only strikes an enemy, and he gets saved if he's doing something else. This just causes you to strike 2 other enemies. Or, like, yeah. Yet again, to further help out the dragon cards, is a 6 cost, I believe. Yeah, an ally with Fury Strikes the 2 weakest enemies. So your dragon now just gets a free strike. He doesn't get striked back. It's a free strike on the 2 weakest enemies, meaning there's a very high chance he's going to kill that enemy. And that's just going to make him even stronger. Where, because it's pushing Demacia forward, it's allowed. But in other regions, that's not going to be allowed. Or it's going to be a different cost, or something along that line. Basically, that's all I really wanted to get at, is that the balance between the regions is just I don't want to say non-existent, but very flimsy. That in most cases, one region is not balanced and another region can be, or something along that line, is all I'm really trying to get at. That spells don't match up, that units don't match up, that like their costs and their effects are not equal, but they'll be considered equal by like the balanced team or by the balanced capabilities when they're just not. And honestly, that's all I really wanted to get at. That was the main point of the entire like rant I went on, but like the rant kind of went into each individual region and how these regions have this bullshit and this region has that bullshit. But that was the overall theme with all of it, was that the regions themselves are not balanced. That each region is going to do what that region wants to do, and because of it, the cards are going to allow it, even if another card from a different region does almost the exact same thing or a very similar thing. That, but like at a different cost. So that's essentially all. That was it. So I am just going to thank you all very much for watching, and I'm going to bid you all adieu. Goodbye.
I just wanna feel free, and I just wanna be me. Yeah, I just wanna go so crazy. I just wanna be a freak. Yeah, I just wanna rise to the top. Yeah, I just wanna go reach the peak. So I've been really focused on success. Hey, y'all will see.